This is guaranteed to be fascinating. We're going to talk about the veil between matter and energy and how you can use this insight to work with your energy body to really move your awareness into your energy body. Emotional healing and manifestations will come as a result. First off, we are energy, you are electric. And when we have a strong connection to our energy body, when we embody our energy, our senses of perception and intuition are heightened a lot. And this will really help us manifest what we want into the world because, of course, the better we feel, the more energy um, we embody, the greater our current. So, how do we connect to our energy body? Well, I'm going to talk about that now. So, first off, two new words, or maybe just one. Energy body, you might have heard of it before. And then the word that might be new for you is prana maya kosha. And I want to introduce this to you here. So, this is part of the yogic body of wisdom. And as you can see, there are three categories. There's the physical body, which is known as the Annamaya Kosha. Then we have the subtle body, which composes of three layers, the Pranamaya Kosha, the Manomaya Kosha, and the Vijnanamaya Kosha. And then the last is the casual body, which is the Anandamaya Kosha. So what we're talking about today is moving from our awareness of the Annamaya Kosha, our physical body, into the subtle body. And I believe that the Pranamaya Kosha very much is related to the Fascia. So first off, the Annamaya Kosha, Annamaya, Maya is the kind of invisible veil, and Anna is food. So Annamaya Kosha is the layer of food, the sheath of food, the outermost layer of the physical body. It's what feeds our body and sustains the other four koshas. This is the sheath that helps us identify ourselves as a mass consisting of flesh, fat, bones, skin, everything that we can see, feel, and touch. It's the physical entry point to give us access to the deeper layers of the energy systems in our body. So the pranamaya kosha, prana is breath. I'm sure you've heard it before when we talk about pranayama in yoga, for example, or just the word prana, which is the same as the word chi or ki or life force energy. So our pranamaya kosha is the layer of the body that contains life. It governs our biological processes from breathing to digestion to the circulation of our blood. The pranamaya kosha animates the body and the mind to allow physical movement and self-expression. It's the life force that allows the inner self to manifest in the world. And it is this energy that gives us emotional stability and brings vitality to our joints, muscles, and organs. So really, this is the layer between our physical body and our mind body, which is the mano maya kosha, the processing of thoughts and emotions. The manomaya kosha is the connection between the lower and upper sheaths or worlds. So let's go into sphinxes for a little moment. Why sphinxes, you might ask me? Well, so first off, sphinxes are always female. And the word sphinx comes from the word sphingane, which means to squeeze or to bind. And this is the energy of the prana maya kosha. It binds our spirit into our physical flesh. And I want to introduce you to a new term today. The term is sayana nahual. Sayaka is a word in Nahutal that means mask, and Nahual means body. So a Sayana Nahual is created by harnessing the serpentine energy of the body, which comes from the earth. The ancient Mayans and the Mexicans called the Sphinx guarding tombs Sayana Nahual. And they have these teachings about how we can create a sphinx with our own energy body. Asayana Nahual is created by harnessing the serpentine energy of the body, which according to the Toltecs comes from the earth. And I love when we look at these expanded versions of the chakras that we actually have an earth star chakra as well. So there's something below our root chakra. And there might be more. Hey? There might well be more, but there you go. There's another earth star. Then they have these upper ones, but what we're really focusing on today is the energy from the earth. And you can see on this one, they have two at the bottom, female energy and karma. But this energy, the serpentine energy that comes out of the earth, NASA has called it, or Schumann himself found it, so he called it the Schumann resonance. But as I've just told you, we've known about this for millennia. NASA defines it as a vertical current flow between the ground and the ionosphere, and it can be mapped in different ways. There's a free app on Google Apps. I think it's for iPhone as well, where you can get these readings if you're interested. But let's go back to the Sayana Nahual. The Sayana Nahual is a very powerful manifestation of the energetic body, and it comes by awakening the power of 7 animals. The jaguar or the lion or the tiger for power and healing the subconscious, the eagle for focus, the deer for courage, the spider to have the power of influence, alligator for abundance, snake for healing, and the hummingbird to heal our relationships and our emotions. So 7 animals, right? And that got me thinking of these 7 chakras again. And so I thought, what would happen if I tried to align these 7 animals with each chakra? Well, I started it like this. So first I thought, okay, it makes sense to put the snake at the sacral chakra where the kundalini rests in the yogic wisdom. And then I thought, okay, let me put the eagle at the 3rd eye, because obviously the eagle can see far and wide. The hummingbird made sense for me to put at the 7th chakra because it flies so high and vibrates so quickly. I tried to put the great feline at the solar plexus for the power. And then I felt that the crocodile goes well at the root chakra because it's sort of the lowest, the most lowest moving animal, which made me put the deer at the heart, and we ended up with the spider at the throat. And I actually feel like this works quite well, and it's super nice to see these ancient wisdoms from different peoples being able to work so well with each other. This is completely my own invention. I didn't find this anywhere else. This is just me putting together wisdoms from different cultures and making it make sense for me. So hopefully you found that a useful little exercise as well. So here's an interesting thing about snakes. So in yoga, they call this kundalini energy, the dormant energy that lays in your sacral chakra, that moves up your spine at the moment of awakening. And dragons and snakes are in mythologies all over the world. And here's what's interesting. If you put the head of a woman on a dragon, you have a sphinx. And so many shamans across time have dressed up and used the animals in their environment, used their parts to create these elaborate masks for themselves. So I love seeing the relationship between the animal world and the spirit world being manifest so clearly to show us that gateway point. So this brings in our fascia, because our fascia is really that layer between the movement of our kundalini energy and the creation of our sayanana wall. So this is what we're going to look at now, the fascia. The fascia is a 3-dimensional web-like connective tissue that surrounds and permeates every structure within your body, including your muscles, your organs, and even individual cells. The fascia is a supportive network that protects and creates a framework for structural integrity while also allowing movement and transmitting forces through the body. You can think of your fascia almost as a soft skeleton. It holds your structure together. And it's actually the fascia that enables your muscles to contract. And the fascia is also really our self-awareness. There are 4 different types of fascia that perform different functions in the body. They're all made out of collagen and elastin fibers that make the fibers and the fluid texture of the fascia. The amount of each component varies depending on where the fascia is and the function it has in our bodies. Some fascia is really fine and elastic, like spider web almost, if you imagine it. And some fascia is thick and much less elastic. I've heard people refer to fascia as Viking fascia, this kind of really rigid and hard fascia, and then temple dancer for the one that is very fluid. Here you can see the white areas is this really thick fascia, which is the one that laymen refer to as Viking fascia. Fascia is what gives us body its form. It maintains our posture. If you took the fascia out, your body would kind of collapse on itself, like there's nothing else that holds it together. Yes, your skeleton does, but without the fascia, your bones would not maintain their posture. Fascia also coordinates the muscles' actions and facilitates our movement. It's a communication network between cells and tissues and help them interact and exchange vital nutrients as well as information. We're also recognizing now that the fascia is very important in our pain perception, and that any imbalances or restrictions within the facial system can contribute to discomfort and decreased mobility. We also refer to fascia when we're looking for trauma that's being held in the body. The fascia can knot up and tighten when we feel scared or when we feel stressed. And if we don't release that out of the fascia, it will hold it. And so our posture can be affected by emotional trauma. So a lot of people have taken to refer to the fascia as our emotional body. So it's really, really interesting. The fascia goes in and around and through each muscle as well. As you can see here, the white areas are the fibers of the fascia. So the fascia goes through, and even though it's connected, it's also separate. And muscle fibers when we use the muscle, the fascia is actually the one that is extended and creates the movement of the muscle. The extension of the muscle fascia through the tendon that is attached to the bone is the transmission of force from the muscle. And the fascia also transmits forces to other muscles. For example, if you lift your legs straight up, the hamstring muscle is actually working 1.5 times less than the iliotibial band, the ITB, than the hamstring. So the fascia works harder than the muscle. So we can't actually isolate individual muscles to stretch or strengthen them. That's not how this works, even though people try to convince you of that, especially those ads on the social media, that you get late at night along with the diet teas and whatever. The healthy, connected body is one unit. When we have issues in our fascia, it can actually lead to injury or loss of muscle power, because the fascia will send the movement, send the energy in a disconnected way. You can see here on the left side, and I mean, this is, cut up net, but when the muscle is relaxed, you can see how the net is soft and open, and when it's knotted and twisted, as on the right side, you can see how the energy would not flow through that net the same way. It's also true that all types of fascia have an extraordinary amount of sensory receptors. The deep fascia in and around the muscles has 10 times more sensory receptors than the muscle fibers themselves. This means that fascia is responsible for much of the information about our bodies, particularly pain, stress, or force transmission, and proprioception. Proprioception is our sense of place and space, our awareness of where our limbs are in relation to the rest of the body and everything around us. The fascia is also often associated with inflammation. Cytokines, molecules contributing to the inflammation, can be found around the fascia. Research shows that stretching can actually reduce inflammation by reducing the number of cytokines in the fascia. So what can we do to take care of our fascia and to keep this gateway open between our physical bodies and our emotional selves, our energy body, and our higher states of consciousness? Well, number one, stay hydrated. We need to have the fascia as fluid as possible, so keeping our tissues hydrated and pliable is very important. So water, and of course, if you're in a really hot country like I am, you'll need to add electrolytes, making sure that your salt levels are adequate. Example. Also movement, of course, exercise, stretching, strengthening, low impact exercises help the flexibility and the resilience of the fascia. Yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi are particularly beneficial for promoting healthy fascia. Myofascial releases, incorporating self-massage techniques like foam rollers or massage balls to release tension and adhesions in the facial tissues. Myofascial release can help to improve circulation, mobility, and overall facial health. And then, of course, posture. Be mindful of your posture, whether you're sitting, standing, or engaging in physical activities. Try to keep your alignment proper, because that ergonomic work can help reduce unnecessary strain on your fascia and promote optimal movement patterns. Prioritize rest and recovery. The body needs adequate and sufficient time to rest and recover. Resting allows the fascia to heal and adapt to the demands that we put on it. Collagen-rich foods are important for the fascia, like bone broths, fish, and lean meats. We also want to really focus on managing our stress, because chronic stress can contribute to muscle tension and facial restrictions. So stress management techniques, mindfulness, deep breathing, or going for walks in nature, or hugging trees will also be good for the fascia. And I want to come back to yin yoga. It gets its special own little moment here, because yin yoga is definitely one of the best ways, because you're doing so many of the things at the same time. And when we hold the pose for 4 minutes or longer, we get this really deep facial creep or maximum relaxation, which opens up the full range of motion at the joints. So yin yoga is definitely a great way to work on, again, that bridge point between our energy body and our physical body. Getting into our prana, maya, kosha, creating our sayana, nahual, and awakening our kundalini to move through our fascia. So maybe you end up a woman with a woman's head with a snake body, like a sphinx, Or maybe your Sayana Nahual looks different. Maybe you're a woman's body with a bull's head like this one. However you choose to mask or unmask yourself, thank you so much for being on this journey, and I wish you a good experience of connecting with your fascia and opening up to these other koshas or layers of yourself.